Happy lunchtime, everyone. This is Elsie Kerns, your Chaos to Clarity coach, energy medicine expert. And today I have a very special treat for you. I'm here with a good friend, Rich Braconi, and Rich is a self-taught spiritual medium and medical intuitive. And many years ago, really probably over 10 years ago, Rich, as he was transitioning from his job as a narcotics undercover detective, started doing some galleries with wellness workers very early as he began making that transition and starting this whole new life. So I'm excited to be with him today, and I'm reading his book, #1 Amazon bestseller, Being More of God. Boy, do we need that today. Welcome, Rich.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad we could get together. Rich, in your book, I'm still reading that, and I'm amazed at how you are sharing your personal spiritual journey and evolution. So this had to take a lot of courage. How did you get the courage to make this transition? And of course, it continues, as you said at the end. What inside gave you that courage to bring this to us?
That's a great question. What happened to me was I reached a low point in my life, and the philosophy that I was taught by family, society, my religion just seemed to be working. And so I then turned to that if God exists, if it's really true, and I really have a spirit, then I was going to do my part into making a sincere effort to surrender myself to any kind of guidance that might come to me, because I knew my current level of guidance and wisdom wasn't working for me in life. So I think it was that. I think it was reaching a low point in my life where I was struggling to be happy, to be at peace, to have a wisdom about life, to watch my words and my actions produce loving outcomes. It just wasn't happening for me. So I think that was my motivation. Also, my daughter. I had a daughter, and I just didn't want to fall short in her life as a father. And so in a nutshell, what I did was I opened myself up to the truth. Whatever the truth was, I was going to lead my life in that direction.
Wow. Well, in your book, you actually shared a couple of stories about how you, after all of this work on yourself and getting guidance, you actually had to take a leap of faith and share some of this information with people, and you weren't really sure how they were going to react. So can you tell us one of those stories?
Yeah, absolutely. There's, like you said, there's a bunch of them. The main thing in surrendering yourself to the truth is questioning your source of wisdom. So when I was doing all this, I realized I was turned to my brain for advice, insight, direction, guidance. And very often what my brain was telling me wasn't working. I also realized sometimes I knew things. I could feel things inside of here. I felt a passion for something. I felt the will to do something. I felt the need to go in a certain direction. And very often my brain would talk me out of it. So I said, well, what if this is my spirit, what I feel, what I sense, what I know to be the truth? And then I started growing that communication by learning to quiet my brain. And I realized every single person has a spirit, is a spirit, and there's a love-based philosophy that's trying to communicate with us to guide us, where we just have to align ourselves with that guidance. And so developing this and getting better at this communication, I spent probably 1.5 years, 2 years by myself, just sitting down, growing my ability to align myself with this inner communication. And then I challenged myself by speaking it, all the wisdom that came to me about life, to a group of friends of mine. But I told them to debate me. I told them not to agree with me. I want you to find loopholes in what I'm saying. So I spent like 2 hours not knowing if any of it was true, explaining about how we were created by a higher intelligence, a divine intelligence. We're all spirit, and we're all connected to a love-based philosophy that equally affects all our lives, and we're just not taught how this is all true when we were kids. We're taught to think too much rather than to spiritually contemplate life and follow a love-based guidance. And so after 2 hours, they tried to debate me, and they couldn't. And everything they agreed with me. And I looked at that outcome and said, hey, they're agreeing with me. Maybe this is universal wisdom. Maybe there really is a way of life that everybody will agree upon if we just open ourselves up to the truth. And that was a big deal for me, back then.
Well, I know that at the end of the book, or one part of the book that I was reading, I love the way you turn words around, and instead of body, mind, spirit, you have us in spirit, body, mind. That's really terrific. And I know that you offer private sessions for people and also do galleries, but I want to know more about the ways that you're mentoring your students in helping them with their own spiritual development, teaching classes.
Yeah, you're so right about, personal readings, and I do galleries, and I do workshops and events. And what I try to share with people that I feel is important is to challenge what you were previously taught. Not that it's wrong, just challenge it to see if it's the truth or not. So one of the things I've learned is we have words like mediumship and medical intuition, and you talk to higher wisdom, you talk to God, you're a psychic, it's all the same communication. It's all the same. So us, when we think about things, we always put labels on things and separate things because there's a competition. When you're spiritually connected, you see things just as the truth, and there is no competition. It's one communication. This communication isn't about talking to people on the other side, even though it allows you to. It's about it's about an evolution of oneself, an evolution of your own spirit, and communicating with a higher wisdom and demonstrating a life that's based on a philosophy that's based on unconditional love. Helping people see that philosophy for themselves causes a shift in their own life. The shift happens where you start to walk at a slower pace in life. You don't mentally think as much. So you start to minimize your mental anger, your mental worry, your mental stress, your mental frustration. It all starts to go away. You start to align yourself with what you sense is the truth and a guidance, and you never try to control the outcome. So you're learning how to give up soul ownership over your life, but you're also learning how to give up soul control over your life. And then in that way, you tap into a coexistence that we were born into, and you find a state of happiness and peace that you've never experienced before. That's the main thing about this.
Letting go of control, boy, that is a big one for all of us, or not knowing the outcome. I mean, we talk about that all the time and think that we might be able to, even though at a deeper level we know that we really don't have any control, but we think we do.
Yes. I think what the control comes from is you actually have more control over producing loving outcomes and positive outcomes on your choices when you learn how to surrender ownership over yourself and align yourself with a guidance that has been trying to communicate with us since we were born into this world. And when you align yourself with that guidance, it's almost like God says, hey, if you follow me, watch what I do together with you. Watch the outcome that we produce together. If you try to do it by yourself, Rich, good luck. But if you do it with how I created you to be, which is you align yourself with what I'm sharing with you, together, we're always going to produce a progressive, loving experience for you. And that's what I've seen happen over the past 10 years. My life has shifted so much over the past 10 years than in the first 44 years.
It's like a whole new life. And actually, Rich, I say that to people myself, that because the energies are moving so fast today, people are literally creating and living more than one lifetime in this form and recreating themselves over and over again. So it's a very exciting time to be alive. Yeah. And I know, and you have a big event in 2019 upcoming with Joan Bursenko, who's a well-known spiritual teacher as well. Do you have that info you can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here it is on the screen. Can you see it?
Yes. Oh, you're going to be cruising.
We're
River.
going to be going down the River Rhone in France for 1 week. Joan and I are going to be teaching, educating, sharing our insight on our own two levels or areas of expertise. So she does a mind-body connection. She's a Harvard graduate. She's a cell biologist, but more importantly, she's just an amazing, wonderful person that I had the pleasure of meeting and spending time with. And then on my end, we're going to do the spiritual end of it. So I'm going to educate people about the spiritual side of life, about how to live a more love-based philosophy. I'm going to do mediumship galleries there. We're going to do a lot of fun events, but the scenery of the river cruise in France is supposed to be incredible. And I believe that the ship holds like 145 people. So everything is 5-star. Everything is just supposed to be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Rich, that information is up on your website, and I have that link up for people on the Facebook page, expandingthepresence.com. So if the ship only holds 145 people, when can people begin registering? Because it will fill up very quickly.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. It's already starting to fill up. People are calling in right now, so it is available to get a seat now. If people are interested, or if people are interested in just having an experience unlike any they've ever had before. I promise you it's going to be a unique opportunity.
It sounds delightful. Can you give us one simple practice that you feel that we can apply daily to our life? You just spoke about how you spent so much time getting out of your head and down into your heart. So can you just let us have one spiritual practice or one practice you feel we could all apply? Because one of the things that you keep pointing out to everyone is that everyone can do this and create that deeper connection to the divine.
Yeah, something that helped me in the beginning. I started understanding about the difference between communication that comes through my head and communication that comes through my spirit. So the first thing I would suggest for people is to slow your pace down in life. Just slow down a little bit and allow yourself to be more spiritually aware. That's different than mental thinking. So your awareness of your spirit is being aware of energy, and learn how to welcome anything that you're inspired with. So if you get inspired with, through your awareness, you get inspired with a thought, an idea, all of a sudden you see a certain person that's meaningful to you in life, start to recognize that inspiration of information is actually divinely created, that has a meaning in your life that's going to produce a positive experience. So anything you get inspired with, anything that you touch here and you say, I felt like that information came from here. And also too, if you feel that information is a love-based information. So information that you feel is going to produce, is going to add to your life or add to someone else's life. That's how you start to recognize the communication of your spirit, and then you start to let it expand because it grows. It's amazing.
Well, you have certainly proven that it grows, and we're so glad you're helping us guide us through this difficult time that we're all living in. It's exciting, but also challenging. So, being more of God, great picture of Rich on the front.
Thank you.
Paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon. And if you go to his website, expandingthepresence.com, you can find out how to get in touch with Rich. Can they order the book through your website or just through Amazon?
Through Amazon right now, and also through the publishing company. It's called Clear Faith Publishing.
Okay, great. So you can also email Rich. I love his email. You need find Rich. And I put that up there as well. So thanks, everyone, and look for more and exciting things that Rich is going to be doing in 2019 to guide us with spirit, body, mind. Thanks, Rich. Any last words for us today?
No last words. Just show faith and show courage in your own life.
Well, thank you for showing the courage that you have and guiding us into this next phase of life as you enhance your own next phase. an incredible and inspiring way for us to look at someone to follow and know that we can do the same thing.
Thank you, Elsie.
Thank you.